Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today, or had a great day. It's quite late at night, so well, I haven't been making much videos. Not that I don't want to, but there's very little to talk about anymore because we're having a situation where the planet is ascending, right? I had a protein shaker and a little bottle. It has a little metal ball inside. You could squish it, right? It's flexible. You're supposed to shake up your protein. Works great, and it's a very simple example. But sometimes the way it shakes, the way you squeeze it together, you get all the binding metal to form a circle, and it looks a lot like a bullseye when you manage to squeeze it all together. And that's the kind of period that we're in right now. For some, it's all the dimensions, as you can say, are in tune with our dimension, and we're all connected in that way. And that just means that you'll be able to, or should be able to, um, just connect with those other higher dimensions and just receive higher dimensional information. A lot of that information is mostly just you asking questions, right? You might you might talk to the Council of Nine. You might communicate with the Council of Seven, maybe. It's the seven individual gods that created the universe, um, and understand the higher process of just how everything goes for a lot high at a higher level than the Council of Nine, right? So I was thinking as I was driving home, how would I explain this? The easiest way is just to the easiest way would be to just imagine that the Council of Nine are uh, keeping a garden beautiful, right? They pick out the weeds, they pick out the stuff that's not good, the snails, the rocks, and then try and make the garden flourish. It's ascension. Uh, Cultivate and make it better. And you can say that maybe just the seven that we know about are, um, they're just, maybe the fertilizer company that brings over the fertilizer, or the one that actually brings the seed for the Council of Nine is a gardening um, person, individual, to then plant the seeds, if you can say. At that level, it's hard to um, visualize it for yourself, and it feels very repetitive, but it's the reason why I watch a lot of movies, or at least entertain myself with books or ideas, so that when there is a connection with the higher dimensions, then my mind can interpret it in a way as a metaphor with the things that I've seen. In the book of Enoch, if you can get your hands on it, and I've read some of it, um, it explains how Enoch was taken away, just simply taken from where he is to another place. Now that doesn't mean you're physically leaving. It means that your soul, right, the higher part of yourself, is aware and exists in another place while you're still in your physical body. They call that bilocation, which is also part of telepathy and levitation and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? That we can go into. Either way, that's how you would communicate with those higher beings. Now, part of the way you're doing this, and this is mostly for my sisters out there, really, been wanting to do this video for a while now, and I'm thinking about what might be holding you back. Keep your thoughts clear. You know, How long can you sit in meditation for without having a single thought? Just breathing in and out and feeling your very own aura and energy first before you can connect with others or connect with those higher dimensional beings that you might want to do, right? Um, and then the connections and the everything becomes apparent to you. You start seeing a lot of synchronicities. Maybe you start seeing the same name over and over again, right? Noah, 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 Noah. Then you might recall what might be Noah's story, right? You might be thinking about your favorite movie. What was the deeper message in it? What did you understand? What did you like, right? Or you might see a phrase and a scene in a movie that just kind of sticks out. Something that your subconscious wants you to know about, right? It's almost like how well you can interpret or how good you can attach yourself to a very good dream that you know resonated with you, right? I've always wanted to have a dream of flying, and I had a dream of flying about a year ago, and I felt satisfied, right? You know, I always wanted to know if I could hear what my cat's saying, and once you might think I'm nuts, but I heard my cat say something, and then it was just like it was profound for me because you can connect with animals too. There's a movie about connecting with animals and how animals lost their speech and we're not able to communicate with them. We lost our way, right? And they retreated back to the forest and kept their language to themselves or something like that, right? So those connections are there. We just have to tap into them and remove the restrictions, which are misconceptions about who we are as a species and where we are being led to in what you should be believing in more than anything. Unfortunately, sources of good information like the internet and YouTube and literature on websites is being removed. Maybe websites aren't being maintained. They're not being supported as well as they used to be. And a lot of the stuff that I like to go back to isn't available anymore. A lot of the channelings of people that they do are restricted by their vocabulary and their by the things that they want to hear for themselves. Oh, we're gonna have Nasara, Jasara. I'm stuck on waiting for that to happen. Maybe that's just not something that is available as an option right now, but it once was, and you're just still attached to this feeling that yes, it is. So if you get a channeling, and maybe the entity that wants to channel wants you to move away from that, you always fall back to these sentences, or you fall back to these ideas where you interrupt the channeling for yourself and for the sake of others that know at some point where you're just filling in a blank and you're not really letting the connection come through to you through you instead of you wanting to manipulate the message so that it could fit what you want. There's a word for that. So it just really an internal process for yourself, and that will then lead you to the reference source or material that you need to read in order for you to understand a little more. It's just leaving little crumbs for you to follow. And I've been left crumbs that it took years for me to put it together. And still, between that moment in time and right now or whenever it happened, you just need to keep the faith in knowing that you're going somewhere and that something is eventually going to just click together and you're going to understand. You're an old soul, right? You're a higher dimensional being. You might be someone that ascended plenty of times before. The world around you is different, and you can see in other individuals how they live their monotonous lives of the 3D, white picket fence and the house and all this thing. So that is not bad because you can live that lifestyle, but you know there's just something more, and you can tell that others just don't. Their mind just can't capture that idea. That doesn't. It doesn't resonate for them to understand that it's factual and truthful, that you know is factual and truthful for yourself, which is fine. So I always say to myself, there's always a phrase that I like to say for myself. I think about it for myself often. I just say this, or I think about this. I say something like, what is it now? Oh, I don't interrupt another soul while is learning. I don't interfere with any other individual in a way that it might tarnish or ruin their journey in life, because it's not my place to do that. It's not my place. Now, if I still happen to have a conversation that it does feel like there is some kind of knowledge or input that needs to be said, or something that maybe I need to listen to myself, then I'll pay attention and I'll understand the message. But it's usually a very unique experience. It's like you walking in a forest by yourself, and then a hawk lands on a branch, and you're like, whoa, okay, cool, all right. And then you're just like, well, that feels good. That was the right thing to do. It'll be a very natural thing. It wouldn't be a misplaced beer bottle, and then you realize your neighbors are always partying on weekends. You're like, well, that's just what's expected. But it isn't necessarily a natural occurrence in the way that you would have your own personal connection with Source, or with your um, higher aspect of yourself, right? There is a oversoul that does communicate with your soul as a unit, and that has its own unique experience that's unique for you. My ascent, I can't tell you what I do for myself, or the things, or the way that I behave, or my actions or lack of actions, because it would not qualify for it to be your experience, because it's my experience. You need to have your very own unique experience and connection to Source. There's nothing I can say to you that's going to give you an aha moment. This isn't 2 times 2 is 4. Everybody knows that, right? And if I did tell you what those things are, you can expect for that to be your own unique experience, because each one of us has their own journey. We're, like I said, we're old souls. So at the time of ascension, just like the whole universe is ascending, and you might talk to those 7 individuals, or have spoken to, or just sit in their energy, right? Sit in their presence. It's your own unique experience, because you're at that level where you can know that. But to tell someone that's a brand new souls, they're brand new souls, born every day, right? That's it would just wouldn't it wouldn't they wouldn't understand, right? You probably be ruining an experience for the future for them, if they can at any moment um, put it together for themselves, which just might create more doubt. So, do you listen to people? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Now, do you share your experiences with others? Uh, Not really, but there is definitely is a lot of sharing that goes on with how I feel about certain things that I am telling you now, so that then you can find your own way and navigate yourself through this life that we're all having together, this experience of being alive, and that we're all experiencing at the same time for this century, right? So, I guess that's the video. There's so much more I can say, but then again, why even bother with that? There's there's let's see. I absolutely was thinking about that right there, and it's it's interesting. It is. I expected that in a way. I was looking for that, right? That what we're looking at here as a sign, and it never ceased to cross my mind that eventually you would have an experience that way. But maybe I didn't have to wait too long for that to happen, and just all the other good things that are coming our way, which is good for everybody. So I'm just gonna post a link of books. Mind you, I've read the book once, I think, and I don't have it in print. I have it electronic, and I'll put the link, and it kind of explains a lot of the universe and the multiverse, and then there's a even higher super universe, right? Like the gardening that I'm mentioning in the Council of Nine and the Seven and things like that, and just the structure of the hierarchy, which you might be able to read about it, and then some that are going to experience it for themselves. But it's a good read, and there's always a bias for the author that's included in it, so it's only more than a reference guide than an actual, uh, word for word how to book. You know what I mean? Or this is the way that it happened, exactly word, moment by moment in time, which could still be even 99% accurate. Um, in any case, that's just that just mentions the impactful experiences that we're having, but it's raining down, and it happened to everyone. It's something that's rained down, that's happened to others before, and it's coming down as knowledge and as experience that then we can, instead of reading it, live the moment, which is pretty good. So that's the book. I'll put it in the link. And then there's the best book of them all is the Kabbalion, by the Three Initiates. That is a very good book. Now that one I've read as a how-to book for me and lived through it. If you are a piano that's out of tune and you need an instruction manual to tune yourself to the right way of playing the piano, then I'm the piano out of tune, and the Kabbalion by the Three Initiates was the book that tuned me and structured me in a way so that I can understand how my surroundings work. Okay, that is what I can say about that. And it was a unique personal experience. So then that should be something that you're doing for your own journey, so that you can understand more. And then you'll pop into your YouTube channel or whatever, and you'll start talking about things that I can say, well, I completely agree with what you're saying, and I understand the experience, and I know why you're saying this. I understand the meaning behind it. So, I mentioned the Kabbalion. I'm not sure how to pronounce the other book, so I'll put it in the description, and I'll put the date on this so that we all I ran out of just things to call these videos. It's just so many. I'm not that smart. All right, guys. So I hope you guys have a great day. It's feels nice to be back. Sometimes I'm here doing a video, and I can feel this cloud of negative energy, and it just sucks. But still, I get it out there when I can, and I feel that forget it. But I have to bring out content for you, but it's beginning to dwindle down because it's just so little that I can contribute to right now. I feel like I've just said it all, unless I get a channel. And I've had those before, and they're very helpful for everyone. At least it gives anyone a taste of something different than just me um, talking to you, which isn't bad. So, you guys have a good rest of your evening. Have a good night. And thanks for watching.